All right, welcome to the fourth episode of OneSoccer's Player and Pundits Hangouts. I'm Asa Raymond with Oliver Platt, Kurt Larson, and a special guest today, Ben Fisk, who is really taking this self-isolation to another level. Looks like you're self-isolated in space there, Ben. What's going on? Where are you? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm stuck in my apartment, so I've been using the green screen to feel like I'm getting out of the house. And as I mentioned to Kurt on Twitter, I'm considering myself the self-isolation expert from now on. So if I can be referred to
you look
that,
like you're in a cult right now. You look like you're reporting live from like some kind of house in California, like you're part of a cult or something.
I can neither confirm nor deny that that's true, but sources tell me I am indeed at home.
You're staying safe. We appreciate that. Looks like you're doing well. So good to see you on with us. Everyone is adjusting to this new normal. It's been about a week for everyone to be working from home. Some people working from home with their spouses and kids. Some of us going crazy. How's everyone coping with the new reality? I'll go to you, Kurt, first. How you doing?
Not good. I go for a walk twice a day, and I've actually started zigzagging streets. So I'll walk down one street, take a right, and then take an immediate right up the next street, take a left, take an immediate left. So I've started zigzagging just to prolong my walks. It hasn't been good, but doing what we can, right? We're doing what we can, and these shows have been fun, so we'll keep it going.
This is helping me keep saying. How you doing, Ollie? What have you been up to?
I just had to line up for the grocery store, so that was unexpected and unwanted twist to my day. So I was nearly late for this, but otherwise I'm doing okay.
Yeah, this has been challenging for all of us, but I'm sure it's been an absolute whirlwind for Ben Fisk, who was the first signing for Atletico Ottawa. Then he goes to preseason camp in Spain, and he's coming back to Ottawa. What have you been going through, Ben? Walk us through the last month for you.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy, to say the least, I guess. A lot of ups and downs. Obviously, being announced as the first signing was pretty special, and it was a really fun couple of days. Then, obviously, going off to Spain was amazing as well. You know, first couple of days there when we were still allowed to train was pretty awesome. Then, obviously, everyone knows what's been going on the last couple of weeks. So it was a couple of days of training in Spain, and then we're pretty much on complete lockdown and you know, basically just waiting to see when we'd be able to get home. So then now obviously grateful to be back in Canada, but on house arrest we've got another week. We arrived last Monday, so obviously coming from Spain, we got to take the necessary precautions and stay home like completely. So one more week, and then at least I can go out for groceries.
Mm-hmm. Hey Ben, was it difficult getting back from Spain? First of all, can you tell us a little bit about training over there? I mean, were you training with any of the first team, the reserve team? Did you see any of the top level players over there? And then just what about the concern getting home? And was that a fiasco, or was it pretty easy to show up and get on a plane?
It was more difficult, I would say. I think while we were there, you know, like I said, the first couple of days were pretty awesome. Facilities were top class, but unfortunately, with the way things went, you know, they shut things down pretty quick. So I think the last 2 days we trained, the facility was closed to everyone except for us. So you know, on the one hand, I guess it was kind of cool because it felt like it was our setup and you know, everything was there for us, but you know, it obviously would have been cool to do a lot of the other things that they had planned, getting to know the first team players, you know, seeing them on a regular basis would have been pretty cool. Particularly, I was excited to meet Cholo Simeone. I think he's quite a character, and I was looking forward to maybe getting a couple of minutes to pick his brain a bit, but obviously now with what's going on, the health and safety of everyone comes first, so.
I mean, I'm just curious because we've been a little bit out of the loop on this, and not to give away any names. Did you guys have a pretty close to full team over there? I mean, only been about a dozen to 15 players announced, so not giving away any names or anything. But did you guys have a pretty robust squad, or was it kind of just who you had at the moment?
No, we had a pretty good squad together. So obviously, like you touched on, announcements were kind of put on hold, but we've got a good good, I'd say 2/3 of a team together, maybe a bit more, depending how they want to finish out the rest of the roster. But it was definitely a really good group, and the few days of training we had, I thought were very, very successful. I thought we have a good group and a good way we want to play, and I'm looking forward to getting that going once things go back to normal.
We'll get to the Atletico Ottawa signing. Obviously, a big decision for you. A great signing for Atletico Ottawa. But going back to the islands for Pacific FC, coming back home for you, you're a Vancouver kid. What happened here? How did this end? Why did it end?
Yeah, I mean, it's a loaded question for sure. I think, as I've said on numerous occasions, the plan was always for me to stay and re-sign. Just given the fact that I was out of contract, I think it would have been irresponsible of me not to look at other options. And when I heard through the grapevine that this venture might be happening in Ottawa, it was definitely something I had in the back of my mind. And just how quickly they reached out to me once it was announced, and how valued they made me feel and stuff. It was a hard decision for sure to leave my home province, but it's one I'm very happy about and very proud of.
Ben, you know me, I always ask the tough questions here.
Give it to me.
Was this your decision to leave Vancouver Island, or was this Pacific FC's decision for you to leave Vancouver Island? Can you tell us?
I would say ultimately it was a mutual decision, and if I had to pick a side, it would be mine. I think when I let them know that I'd be leaving, we were still trying to make something work, and if I hadn't come to Ottawa, I definitely would have made something work to stay. So it was one of those ones where when I got my final offer from Ottawa, and I talked things over with my family and stuff, it was just an opportunity that I thought I would regret if I didn't jump on. So and that's as truthful as it gets. That's how I felt about it. At 27, I think I still have a lot to give the game and a lot of growth still to come. And I thought that the opportunity here in Ottawa with the backing of Atletico Madrid could give me the best opportunity to do that.
Yeah, just going to follow up on that. I mean, I think there's added pressure on you now in Ottawa to perform just as their first signing, and one of the better players in the CPL last year. But was it difficult, watching Pacific FC bring on other guys who were maybe every time they would sign somebody, maybe there was less of a chance of you being signed permanently, right? So you could bring on a guy like Marco Bustos out there, Thomas Merjaguer, Jamar Dixon, and these guys. Every time one of those signings landed, did that hurt your chances of signing there? And did you feel that along the way?
No, not really. If anything, those signings actually made me more excited at the prospect of staying. Last year was tough.
You're such a pro, Ben. You're such a pro at these answers.
I'm being honest, Kurt. Like I'm a winner, and there's nothing I wanted more this year than to win the CPL. And I don't really care what team that's with. So when I was still in talks with Pacific and I saw those guys signing, it was 100% just excitement. Like, wow, we're putting together a great squad, and now obviously even with me off the table, I'm really excited to see what Pacific can do. Lots of close friends there, and I really enjoyed playing with the young guys and watching their development last year. So I'm really excited for their year ahead.
It was an interesting year for Pacific FC. You guys had your ups and downs throughout the year. How would you assess the inaugural CPL season?
It was a big learning curve for us. I think, I don't have the stats on it, but I'm sure we're the least experienced team in the league, definitely the youngest. So it was, a learning curve is kind of the best way I could describe it. I think guys were thrown into the fire a little bit, and that's not a bad thing always. I think what we went through last year is going to pay huge dividends for Pacific this year, and I'm really excited to see what both the returning players from last year bring this year, but also as Kurt touched on, some of the new signings like Boosty, Callum Irving, just to name a couple. Those are good friends of mine who I think they'll bring a lot to the island, both on and off the pitch.
Oliver, you're so active today. Thanks for being so talkative over there.
I got a word in with you, Kurt, as usual.
Well, I got one more question too. I got one more question for Ben Fisk about Pacific FC. We're going to move on eventually. Don't worry. Got to ask you about Michael. I think you've talked about it before, but He's the first coach to be fired in the CPL, to be let go. Whatever happened there, mutually part ways. I'm sure you respect him as a coach. I'm sure you respect him as a man, as a mentor. But what do you think went wrong there in terms of that original signing out there for Pacific FC?
I would say it's a collective downfall. I think, as players, we obviously could have done more. I think there's definitely a learning curve, like I touched on, but I think we also let ourselves down in a lot of games, just not being prepared for minute one, or taking a player or two off here and there. I think in that regard, we definitely let ourselves down. As far as the right fit for the job, I think that's obviously a question for the owners, but I think you'll be able to compare this year a little bit better with another guy coming in Pundit. So I think it's tough to say. I have a lot of respect for Michael as a coach and as a person, but given another year in charge, who knows what he might have been able to do. But it's it's a loaded question. I think everyone's probably got their own opinion on it.
Before we move on, I'm surprised you haven't commented on my hat yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's not my team anymore, so it's, not too impressed. I don't know if you're trying to poke the fire a little bit with that one, but
come on, I
wouldn't put it past you.
Never.
I have to amuse myself somehow. I'm in a 1,100 square foot apartment here.
Hey Ben, did you know Pundit before from your time with the Whitecaps?
No, I didn't actually. I think he came in either the year or 2 years after I left. So I didn't know him personally, but lots of mutual friends, obviously, and this whole off season since he was announced, I've been in contact with him and met with him a few times, and same as Michael, I got nothing but respect for him as a player and for what he does as a player, and as a person, and I think as a coach, I've heard nothing but good things. So I'm excited to see what they can do this year.
Ben, I want to ask you a little bit about Atletico and the kind of new challenge ahead of you. It's a massive thing for Canadian soccer generally, I think, to have a club like this come in and invest in the CPL and in the game all over the country. Do you feel like much responsibility here as kind of right now the face of the team and the most established player to, I don't know, take a leadership role and kind of help establish this team in the community?
I definitely feel responsibility, but nothing outside the norm. I think last few years of my career, I've been trying to take on more of a leadership role, and it's definitely something that comes pretty naturally to me. So I also have the experience of starting a brand new team last year and doing much of the same things that we're going to have to go through this year. So I'm going to rely on that experience and obviously just my qualities as a player and person that I think will allow me to do whatever I can to help the team on and off the pitch.
How's your conversations with the fans been? I thought it was pretty cool that you were, offering up your phone number essentially to chat to people in Ottawa.
It was easier for the fans to get a hold of you than it was for OneSoccer. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It was a good time. I can't take complete credit for the idea. The front office asked a few of the players to call some season ticket holders and people who had made deposits just to not to sell tickets or anything, but just to kind of give them a personal update on what's been going on. Obviously, our situation is quite different to the rest of the teams in the league, so it was mostly just a call of goodwill, just kind of creating a bit more of a bond between the players and the fans before balls even get kicked. So those calls went quite well, and then obviously I put out on Twitter if anyone didn't get a call that would like one, let me know. And I got a few more replies than I anticipated. So it was a long afternoon, but it was a good time. And, it was something I really enjoyed. I think that connection is pretty special. And like I said, before balls even kicked, if we've got people behind us, then we're half the way there.
There's a reason that fans are typically separated from players, and it's because the interactions can sometimes be quite bizarre. Give me the most bizarre conversation or strange conversation you had on the phone with a fan. I don't know, did somebody ask you out on a date? Did anything like that happen? Like, did anything like crazy happen or what?
Nothing too crazy. No no great stories to tell. There were a few really nice things. One guy said he's got season tickets with his dad, and asked me to give his dad a call on his birthday a week later. So that was pretty fun, and I thought it was a really nice thing to do. So I made sure I had it in the calendar, and I called him. I think yesterday morning I called him to wish him a happy birthday. So little things like that, it's especially at times like this where there's a lot of negativity going around. Little things like that can bring people a lot of joy in their life. So it was a really enjoyable experience.
You're a better man than me. I usually give out a fake number when that happens. So.
All right, Ben.
Not surprised.
Then you played in Spain, so you had a taste of that Spanish culture and soccer culture there.
You play in Spain?
Canadian players to play for a club backed by Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, it's pretty special. I think the growth that Atletico Madrid shown in the past 10 years, I think is pretty unprecedented in the world. They've got a fraction of the budget that Barcelona and Real Madrid have, and yet they're contending for the La Liga title. They're contending in the Champions League. Like it's quite incredible what they're doing. So as far as a team that's going to back a brand new franchise in Canada, I can't think of a better ownership group to be behind us. And obviously with their expansion around other parts of the world, they've done this before, and they're going to be able to create a great infrastructure for us to succeed.
Have they been trying to? Sorry, so have they been trying to kind of instill some of the club values in you when you were in Madrid and things like that? Because they are a team with a very kind of distinct identity and style of play as well.
Style of play, I think, is up to the coach. I think from what I've heard, the other Atletico expansion teams around the world all have unique styles of play, and that's coming from the coach, but also has to be with the players you have at your disposal. So definitely, personality wise, I think is where they're trying to instill the Atletico mentality in us of honest, hardworking players who are going to give everything for the club and for the badge. And, that's something we're definitely going to buy into and try and bring to whatever style of play we instill.
Yeah, adding to that, what's the biggest difference you've noticed with this club compared to other ones you've played for?
To be honest, how organized and professional everything's been, given that the club was only announced less than a couple of months ago, has really blown me away. How well we've been taken care of, how they've rolled with the punches of what's going on in the world right now, and made sure that we're safe, taken care of, and feeling valued as footballers the whole way has been pretty incredible.
All right, let's get to the tattoo topic now. I understand you have a nice sleeve, I believe, on the right arm. So let's hear it. What's the most recent tattoo?
You're gonna regret that. You're gonna regret that, buddy. I'm telling you. Just because you're young and fit right now, you're gonna regret it.
Yeah, right. I'll look like a badass old dude one day. Don't worry, Kurt.
I'm gonna give you my opinion on tattoos, but go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
You can give me yours first if you want.
No. You're the guest. You're the guest, Ben.
Yeah. Kurt's got something else to do by the looks of it, though.
Check an email.
Kurt's still doing data reports on my five-a-side team.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I don't even know what it is, so you're going to surprise me with it. But no, don't.
He's going to pull up Messi's pass percentage completion.
No, that's what Oliver does. I'm not into the analytics, man. I'm a purist.
Old school.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm a fan of tattoos. Obviously.
What's the most recent one you got?
I got a couple new ones over the off season. Actually, the most recent one, I got a hummingbird on my chest here.
What's the story behind that?
Everything I've got is to do with family, so that's something special with my mom.
All right, let's hear.
Nice. I almost feel that's nice. That's nice. I almost feel bad talking bad about tattoos now. Like
yeah.
Thanks.
Now let's hear product, please.
My mom's a huge fan of yours, Kurt.
Oh, really? Good. That's because we picked you. She isn't?
No, she. To be honest, she reads what I send her. She's not a huge.
Okay.
Not a huge footy person.
Will you let her know that I can get her a OneSoccer subscription for free, so she can follow along whenever we start up again, and she can listen to me say a lot of good things about you.
Well, she certainly watches the games and hears what you say about me, so don't worry.
There's a reason that you were the number 41st best player in the league last year, according to our top 50 ranking.
I was higher than that, actually. I think top 30.
Yeah, he's got to be higher than that, surely.
Yeah, I mean,
I was just testing you to see if you knew your number.
I couldn't tell you exactly, but I know it was in the 20s.
Okay, let me tell you what I think.
Should have been higher, though.
Well, some of it has to do with results and the people around you, and so unfortunately, there were some lackluster results out of Pacific FC last year.
Fair enough. It is a results business.
Okay, let's hear your tattoo advice.
So, as somebody with 2 tattoos, I feel like I can openly talk about the negatives around getting a tattoo. For me, tattoos are the result of people feeling inadequate with themselves. So, you need to paint yourself up a little bit. And ultimately, I feel like people get more tattoos because they get bored with the ones they have. So, for instance, the only reason I don't have more tattoos, because they're addictive, I probably would have more tattoos, but my wife told me I could not get any more tattoos because she hates them so much. We can go into what I have if you want to break it down even further, but I just feel
I would like to know what you have
I
believe me, you would.
I might even just because. Well, should I bring it out, Oliver? Should I bring out the tattoo?
I think it's time for the world to see it. Yeah.
Very few people know about this because it's somewhat embarrassing.
Is this going to be not safe for work or what?
No. I'll bring it. All right, I'll bring it out.
Don't worry, not many people are watching these yet, so.
So, I have a tattoo on this arm. No, that's the wrong arm. Sorry.
Did I say Larson?
Yeah, I don't even know where they are. I don't even know where the tattoos are.
Very original.
Let me go with this one. You guys can keep talking. Like, I feel like it's like all eyes are on me right now. It's like, geez,
this is great.
It's a big moment.
Yeah, I mean,
waiting for the reveal.
I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't in isolation. But this is why I think tattoos are a bad idea. So when I was 19, I got the U.S. soccer shield tattooed on me. What's the problem with this, Ben Fisk? Well, the problem, Ben Fisk, is that U.S. Soccer has since changed their logo. Yeah, so now I have the old logo.
That's just the tip. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Actually, now you're working for a Canadian league.
Well, the other problem, yes, Ben. The other problem is that now I am a Canadian, and I follow the Canadian national team more than the U.S. national team. So a lot of times when we get tattoos, bad things happen. So that's why I'm staunchly against tattoos.
You know what? I've got a very good tattoo story that I think you guys are going to like. It's not a bad tattoo, but it certainly connects a little bit to Kurt's story. When you guys sent me the little rundown of the script yesterday, I immediately started laughing because this is a good one. So I don't know if it's the first tattoos I got, but a couple of the first ones I got my family dogs' names. Forrest and Vigo. Vigo we named after the first city in Spain I lived in when I was playing for Caruso there. It's just outside the city of Vigo. So it's
also the name of the bad guy in Ghostbusters 1.
Okay, that too. Yeah.
There you go.
big Bill Murray fan here, so I don't mind that shout. So very nice story up until obviously I then signed for Deportivo de La Coruña, whose biggest rivals are actually Celta Vigo. So here I was, announced as a new signing, all excited, and I had to spend a whole year trying to hide my left wrist. So it was a fun experience. Luckily, I don't think any fans got wind of it, but and I think this is the first time it's going public, but I certainly got razzed quite a bit by my teammates and coaches.
So you don't have any tattoos you regret at all?
No, not one bit.
On your wrist, though, how do you conceal that for a whole season?
Long sleeve jerseys, wrist tape, a lot of hands in the armpits, crossed arms. I was a lot less social than I am now, so it wasn't too bad.
The other thing is people don't understand the amount of upkeep that tattoos take. So I have never had a tattoo touched up because I didn't know that I was going to have to do that. So now they also look bad. Anyway, I think I've expired my opinion on tattoos now, and
any tattoo,
probably about 50% of the public hates me now. So,
for what it's worth, Kurt, I don't think the U.S. Soccer logo ever looked good. So,
I was 19. I was 19.
What about you, Ollie? Any tattoos?
No tattoos, no piercings, nothing.
Did you draw anything up? You didn't have anyone. You didn't have one ready to go.
No.
Here I am, close to getting a tattoo, and
let me just say this: it took a global pandemic and self-isolation for 4 days to bring out my tattoo. So otherwise, it would still be hidden, and only a very tight-knit group would know that I have it.
Oliver, you can get my 2020 stats tattooed on you.
It's gonna be great.
2020 stats. I did the 5 goals, 5 assists was a good one. Did you hear that one?
No. What was that? Sorry.
I think it was only you and Petrasso had 5 goals and 5 assists.
And Borges, I believe.
And Borges, sorry, yeah.
And Borges, yeah. Yeah, I mean it's good. Stats are stats, but we didn't win a whole lot of games last year, so I'm not going to get into them too much.
Just something for your resume.
I'm already regretting looking at social media to see if someone screen grabbed that.
Yeah, we're actually.
Joke's on you, Kurt. My mom's watching this right now. She took a screenshot.
Whatever. I don't care anymore.
Let's open it up to the viewers and see what they want to have Kurt get for his next tattoo.
I thought we were going to ask him about the worst tattoo in the league first.
We'll get there. I want to know what the viewers think, though. Should you get a CPL logo, Cavalry FC logo, or a butterfly?
Are you asking me what my opinion was, or are you asking me?
That's for the viewers to chime in and suggest your next tattoo. But let's get back to Ben Fisk and ask him what's the worst tattoo you've seen on the field?
Ooh, that's a tough one, to be honest. It's
got to be a face tat or something, right?
I mean, I haven't played against too many guys with face tattoos recently, so to be honest, the Kurt's U.S. Soccer logo is one of the worst ones I've seen.
Wow, take the easy way out. Take the easy way out.
I know he's not technically in the league, but that's got to take my vote. And the last name on the other arm is close second.
This is why I thought twice about doing this.
Tell you one I really don't like, and I haven't played against him, needless to say, but Messi's blacked out leg. Not a fan of that at all.
Figured that was to cover something up.
I guess
I think he had something else before that he covered up and blacked out. I mean, to be honest, Lionel Messi can do what he wants. So I might actually get my leg done like that just to see if it affects my play.
Yeah, I almost Ben Fisk has rattled me now because now I feel bad commenting on someone's tattoo in case it's like related to like their late mother or something, and I'm ragging on a tattoo that I know nothing about. But at the same time, in general, I can still say bad idea most of the time.
Yeah, I just think that's a valuable leg. Kenny should have touched it in the first place.
Yeah. Don't let it do
I don't know. I think tattoos are a very personal thing, and someone wants to get something on their body, it obviously means enough to them that hopefully down the road they don't regret it. But that's the reason I would never regret anything I get, because at one point in my life that was important enough that I felt I wanted that etched on me forever.
Well, I don't think about it every day, guy. Like I don't think about my tattoos every day. Like I forgot which arm they were on. Like
just every time you look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to the 5-a-sides now. This is something that the group did yesterday. Yeah, Adam, Kurtz, Ollie, Laura Armstrong gave her 5-a-side squad as well, and people.
It's got a lot of attention online.
Yeah, people. That's right. We're submitting theirs online, and here are the rules that Kurtz introduced, and then changed throughout the show yesterday.
Okay, one second. I want to get this clear right now. Which rules did I change?
That the retired player doesn't have to be in his prime. He has to be playing right now.
Okay, so that was never a rule. That was never made clear, but it was not a change. Okay, go ahead.
Here are the rules. And one current CPL player, one current MLS player, a retired player, not in his prime, but the state he's in right now. 3 current players from any league. One has to be female. 1 coach. Ben, what's your squad?
Well, I actually took all of Kurt's new rules into account because I knew that he would be coming after my team as soon as I put it out there. So
I don't think about you as much as you think, Ben. don't.
Well,
I really don't.
That's not what your replies to my tweet say. So, I think it was like 2 minutes after I put the squad out, I see Kurt Larson. Of course. So, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I love a bit of back and forth. So, okay. I did take your rules into account. So I went with Iker Casillas in net.
Is he healthy?
Recently retired, yeah. So he's probably still got a bit of gas left in the tank.
Okay.
Obviously, a winner. He won the World Cup, Champions League, won just about everything you can as a player in Europe. So it's a good start. Took Sergio Ramos at center half in front of him.
Smart.
Same sort of answer. And in a team where I'm playing with one defender, I think he's someone who can get it all done.
You playing a 1-3-1, or what are you doing here?
1-3-1, baby.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Then I'm going with my boy Sammy Piette in midfield. Bit of a destroyer.
This is where you start to go off the rails, but continue.
Well, let me finish, Kurt, and then you can have your 2 cents, okay? So I got Sammy Piette in midfield, destroyer. Played a lot of years with him, so good connection there. And he's going to help Sergio Ramos because the other 3 of us aren't exactly defensive-minded. We got Lionel Messi on the right, myself on the left, and Christine Sinclair up top. Got the best player of all time, greatest goal scorer of all time in Christine, and I'll take one for the team and get the dirty work done.
Okay, and let's talk about your coach.
Head coach, I got Zinedine Zidane. Taking into account Kurt's rule that that's your only substitute, I feel that that's a pretty fitting head coach / sub to have. And if anyone's seen videos of him training lately with the Real Madrid team, he's still got it. So then the X factor of my team is that I think the entire roster speaks Spanish, with potentially the exception of Christine Sinclair. So if she does speak Spanish, I'm sorry, Christine, but let me know if that's the case. Our team chemistry is definitely at 100%.
Well, soccer is the language I want my team to speak, not Spanish. So that's what I'm going with. Anybody else want to chime in on that before I tear this team apart?
Yeah, I actually quite like the Piette pick because Piette, he's basically good at, and I don't mean this in a bad way, he's good at one thing, right? Like he gets the ball back and he lays it off to someone else. So I think he could do that, in a high class team as much as he could do it in MLS. So I like that. I think Ramos, you guys both have Ramos. I think he's past his prime.
Yeah.
Oof. I'd like to hear his answer to
that. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it to his face, but
okay. Hey, 2 foot, yeah.
So, okay.
Wait, Kurt. How are we going to go at this? Are you going to make a point and I get to refute it, or do I just have to let you go here?
You've had your time to speak on this.
Okay. Let's have it.
So first of all, Sammy Piette, I mean, you've basically admitted that you've picked him because he's your buddy. So I don't really have to tear that apart.
Buddy, so I know him better than most players. I know what he brings to the squad.
I'm not, but okay. I mean, so we're being a bit disingenuous now because you can pick any Major League Soccer player, and you've picked a player who's never even been an All-Star.
Well, I've picked someone who fits my team.
Okay.
The way we want to play. So
okay. He speaks Spanish. He speaks Spanish. The other one is yourself. I take great issue with you putting yourself in the team because I thought you were selfless. And if you're selfless, you would put maybe a Marco Bustos or a Carducci, somebody else in the squad that maybe finished higher than you in last year's top 50 list. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to say that you aren't deserving of being in the conversation for being a top CPL player. I'm just saying, based on recent performances, there are probably other selections in the CPL that were better.
Well, listen, no footballer gets to where they are without believing in themselves. So
and I would expect you to say that.
That pick for me doesn't need explanation.
Ben, do you think you're the best player in the league?
That's
for you guys to decide. I know that there's no one else in the league more committed to winning. I'll say that.
I'm also going to be that guy that says I don't really agree with the Sinclair selection in a small 5-a-side game, but that's just me.
Well, you haven't seen Sinclair receiving passes from me and Messi, so
I haven't. I have not seen her in a 5-a-side game with these rules. No, I have not. So.
Yeah. Everyone's team is slow. So here's my squad. And this is the winning squad right here.
Yeah.
Okay, but as I hate to break it to you, but in a five-a-side game, there's not a whole lot of space to run into.
Quickness, though. Still covering the field. So
Asa, any decent team is going straight through the middle of that lineup. Like, I think you've got one central midfield player, and it's the MLS player. Yeah.
Kay and Van Dijk through the middle. No one's getting through that. Good luck getting through. Kay, Van Dijk through the middle. Robin Davies on the outside.
I fancy that. What's the name again? That Messi fellow. He's all right.
He was in my team too. So.
Yeah, I think next time we do this, when we do this again, we do a proper draft so that the same player can't be taken.
That's a pretty good idea. I'm down.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I'm taking Fisky business over anybody, though.
If we do this again, we're getting the rules down on paper.
Well, I think Ben Fisk is with me in that you should be thinking ahead, and you should have your coach and realize that he has to step in for any injuries. So
he's coaching first, though. That's why I'm going Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, exactly.
Klopp's coaching first.
There's no coaching in a five. There's no coaching in a five-a-side game. There's no coaching in a five-a-side game. It's personal accountability. It's keeping the ball. It's being good in tight spaces. There's no coaching involved.
Structurally sound and motivated. That's what my is going to be.
I think any footballer would agree in a five-a-side game, personal accountability that Kurt just touched on is probably the number one attribute. I think with that few guys on the pitch, one guy not doing their job, one guy or girl, I should say, not doing their job lets the whole team down. So that's definitely a thinking topic for it.
It's almost like I know what I'm talking about. All right.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that one.
All right.
What you said about my team, I don't know.
I like the team chemistry shout, though, Ben. Is that a FIFA reference? Getting everybody to speak the same language and building up that team chemistry?
Well, I use more of a real life reference. Yeah, but I guess FIFA as well. I took that very seriously. I spent about 45 minutes doing that team, so I was thinking about all the things. I was even wondering, can Ramos and Messi play together? They've had some good duels over the years, but I think guys at the top level, they respect that kind of competition, and I think that would be a world beater team.
Yeah, well, hopefully once the quarantine ends, we can actually get these teams on a five-a-side. We'll make it all happen.
Yeah, I'll give Leo a call and see if he's free next week. So
let's do it. All right, time for something that we did last season throughout the year, a little thumbs up, thumbs down. So we got a few thumbs up, thumbs down questions. And Ben, you're part of the panel today, so we'll get your thoughts first. For a little CPL, thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up, thumbs down on the CPL adding a 3-team playoff. Thumbs up. Reasoning?
With 8 teams in the league, I think you want the excitement of the league to progress, right till the very end. So, it doesn't always happen like last year, but obviously last year is a good example where 2 teams, set themselves apart from the rest. And I think some of the games towards the end of the season could have been a bit more exciting. So I think adding in that 3rd playoff spot is great for the league. It gives, one more spot to play for, and hopefully, creates a bit more excitement coming down to the wire.
Yeah, I agree with Ben. I think we've got to bear in mind as well that we don't have relegation. We don't have continental qualification aside from the one league champion. So you got to find ways of, giving teams different things to play for. And I think this does that.
I'm going to give you guys a bit of a different answer. Somebody at the league office was listening. Somebody at the league office was watching. When for Oliver, this, back me up. When for many, many months, I was banging the drum about a 3-team playoff and how it made sense based on what happened last year. Had Forge and Calvary run away with the league again this year, it would have been a complete disaster. And then if you look back last year, I believe the entire table would have been within 6 points of each other for the 3rd playoff spot, which would have made the final 6 weeks, 2 months, whatever you want to call it, far more exciting. I had been calling for this for a while now, and I'm very happy that the league was receptive in bringing this in because it's going to make the games on OneSoccer far more exciting when we get going.
You try to get a raise here or something, Kurt? Like, just throw it on the resume, bud.
Someone tell me, Oliver, tell me that's not correct.
Yeah, you were calling for it. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
I don't think he's after a raise. He's just after the kind of clout.
All right, next one, CPL, thumbs up, thumbs down. Should the final be just one leg, just a one match final?
You guys gonna talk?
Am I first?
No, we're just doing visual.
Thumbs up. Let's hear it.
There like this.
Who's going first? Me? Ben,
you go. Oliver. Go ahead.
All right. For me, like, I think this is a young league and this is a growing league, and we need to give casual fans those big dates to tune in on, and the kind of gateway games that people can have towards becoming a CPL fan. And for me, one leg knockout matches, there's nothing better than that. So for me, I would go to a one-legged final and just make it the biggest date, or along with the Canadian Championship final, one of the biggest dates on the Canadian soccer calendar.
Ben,
yeah.
I totally agree. I think you look at the biggest games in world football: Champions League final, World Cup final, Euro Cup final. Those one game finals are something that's everyone looks forward to all year, and even for years to come in the case of the World Cup or Euro Cup. So I think it's just a beautiful beautiful thing for fans to be able to watch that game and know that it's anyone's trophy to take home, and what happens in that 90 minutes or farther if it goes extra time, I think is it just gives you that sense of anything can happen.
I am in two minds here. On one side, I think the team that finishes top of the table should have every advantage possible to claiming the CPL championship. So, in that sense, I think it was unfortunate for Calvary to have to play two legs last year and ultimately lose in the final after winning both regular seasons. So that's my thinking on the one game final. However, for entertainment purposes, a two-leg final is much better for the TV product, for all of us to comment on. And I just think, if those top two teams finish so close in the standings, why not let them fight it out over two legs? The advantage for the top seed is that they don't have to play in that 2-3 game to get to the final. So I'm going opposite of both these guys, and I am saying thumbs down to a one-game final.
I don't know if it is better for TV. Like, you don't hear the CFL talking about a two-legged Grey Cup. It's a big event, right? It's the once-a-year showpiece occasion for the league. That for me would be a much bigger TV property or opportunity for growth for the league than a two-legged final.
Well, all I know, Oliver Platt, is that last year there were 10,000 fans at Tim Hortons Field for the first leg of the final, and it was quite entertaining. Maybe not for the soccer, but for other reasons.
Yeah.
And there was a full packed house stadium, looked great at Spruce Meadows a week later. And I thought the two-leg final was great last year.
I think just to add on to that, Kurt, I'm definitely all for the one leg final, but the one positive I would give to the home and away final is having a game in each city. I think, especially for a brand new league, that was a really cool thing last year for both Hamilton and Calgary to be able to host a game. So that would be the one talking point for me for a two-legged final.
All right, last CPL thumbs up, thumbs down.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No?
I see what the producer's texting you.
I'm just talking about this.
Do it.
I'm going right to this thumbs up, thumbs down. $50 from Calvary every time. Kurt Larson gets $50 from Calvary every time he gives his biased or unbiased punditry. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I would have more respect.
I don't think he gets cash. I think he just gets small gifts, like a Christmas card from Tommy, a little note from Zator every now and then, that kind of thing.
Can somebody give me an example of my Calvary bias, or has this just been a manifestation based on what a few fans on Twitter have repeatedly said? Can someone give me an actual example of it? Heaven forbid that I talk about the best team in the league last year being the best team in the league.
I'm pretty sure I recall in talks about the league best 11 at some point during the season. I can't remember if it was halfway through or at the end of the season, but you saying that it should all be cavalry players. That's
no,
I seem to recall that.
No, I believe what I said is that it should all be cavalry and forge players, because they finished 30 points ahead of not only your Pacific team, but every team in the league. So based on performance, they had the best rosters last year. And I think maybe you slip a guy like Ryan Telfer in there. I don't know, but Forge and Cavalry should have had every player on the best 11 should have been a Forge or Cavalry player.
So when Messi and Ronaldo score 50 goals in a year and they don't necessarily win something, they shouldn't be in the best 11?
They do win something.
No, I'm saying, but based on your argument, if
but that player this year was Tristan Borges, who was a Forge player.
I'm just saying there's team success, and obviously that plays into account, but you have to, call a spade a spade. When there's very obvious quality somewhere else, I think you gotta give credit where it's due.
So what I would say to that is that there was not enough obvious quality elsewhere in the league to jump ahead of the players on Cavalry and Forge's roster. That's just my opinion. Maybe it'll be different this year.
That's all the time we have, guys. Well done. Thanks so much for coming on with us, Ben. We'll have to bring you back and to continue this conversation. We have so much more to ask you as well. So again, we appreciate you coming on. We'll be back again tomorrow. Adam is hosting tomorrow's show with special guest Jeff Paulus. Thank you for watching the Player and Pundit Hangout on OneSoccer.